when you, as a migrant, arrive somewhere else, you sort of essentialize your culture that you have. So if you are Italian, you focus on the pizzas because that's what people know. So it's easy for you to become a pizza seller because people will accept you in that way. They'll be able to place you. But it's also about how food cultures mix and mingle and how new food cultures are created out of that. And in that sense, it also relates to this debate on integration and on how not only migrants arrive in a society and should adapt themselves, but basically how societies have always been remaking themselves through migrants. People have always been coming in and out, and cultures have always been changing because they are hybrid. So that's another book about remaking the mainstream, but basically it's about this interconnection and this interchange.
In France would be looking different, but this is Filet Américain.
We could start from going to different restaurants in Maastricht which are serving foreign food.
I mean, I really loved like when actually it just comes from some sort of indirect conversation, like when I was in Finland in this tiny town in Jakobstad, there was a van exactly like the one I'm filming right now.
Yeah.
And the guy told me that he just came in the like early 80s in this town. No, he was a refugee actually, and he was placed in this small town because they were, I think they were, how do you say that, equally kind of dividing
Refugees.
yeah, but also they brought people where they needed them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then he started to run his food truck, and he has been doing it for like more than like, I don't know, 30 years. And he was so nice, like he gave me some samples also, like just
Samples
like this.
of what? Of food?
Yeah, but he just talked to me like, and also I guess I asked casually, so it was like,
Yeah.
I didn't have to have a forced interview or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
It was
difference.
good. Because yeah, I guess it's kind of embarrassing to ask them just
Because I already
out of
know
the
that
blue.
people don't want to.
Exchange their experience.
No, and also like, why would they? They don't know you. You're coming to their bar.
Yeah,
Like it's awkward a bit.
yeah. Sure.
There was a earthquake, and someone was eating the noodle soup, and the earthquake came and the bowl just fell down and upside down, and the noodle was saved inside. And it's like, I saw the picture, it's exactly the contemporary noodle. It's like, you know, you buy it from the shop. And then when they opened the bowl, they took the photo after 10 minutes, and it's like become to like the dust. It's like, keep it because the air condition once changed. It's suddenly disappeared.
What Patrick Manning did is he looked at animal migrations and the movement of animals through Earth and used the categorizations that biologists use on human migration. So he was the one who started saying there's this thing as cross-community migration, and within cross-community migration you have sojourners, you have itinerants, you have more permanent migrants, but there's also invaders, so people who, for example, through a war invade a country and position themselves there. So he really gave a framework to further study these type of migrations.
This in Polish kitchen. It's pampuchy, kluski na parze.
La mitraillette, une spécialité pacifique qui
Migration history should always be comparative. How it's not interesting to analyze the arrival of Italians in New York, because then all you will know is what happened to the arrival of Italians in New York. Whereas if you analyze the arrival of a group of Italians, for example, from Napoli in New York and also in London, you can see what structural differences there were in the cities where they arrived and how this helped their integration. Mostly if a migrant group has one very similar characteristic, this can be more considered threatening. So for example, if it has to be a larger group, but if this group is quite homogeneous in terms of gender, so it's mostly male, or in terms of age, they're mostly young, or in terms of religion, mostly Muslim, whereas the receiving country is Christian, or skill, so they sort of get into one single labor market, one field, this is more considered threatening, whereas if it's more dispersed and more different types of groups, more different types of categories, it's not necessarily considered a threat.
Yeah, the pasta comes from noodles.
From China.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a fighting of that.
Rolling, and it's a lot of rolling and flipping the dough so it doesn't stick to the
Pasta, allargarlo un po'.
And now we are just making a nice little nest for the ham. We put as much as we can in, and then you just
chopsticks, either way, whatever you like. Just put the stuffings in the middle